Mateys, beware, because there be spoilers ahead. So if you don't want to know what happens before you see the film, then keep a wary eye out. Go see the movie and come back later. My boss, Ryan.
Hello, hello.
Emmanuel.
My first impressions are that it doesn't really spend a lot of time trying to build anything up. I feel like they get right to the action. I also really enjoyed the several callbacks and references to the original movies.
Overall, I enjoyed it. I think the small little bits and pieces there where there was like comedic effect, I think those landed overall. It didn't seem too much like other Jurassic World films where there was focus on the park and stuff like that. I think this new like explorative way of working around it was really nice.
I really liked the film too. It was a lot of fun. I don't think the characters in this one are as strong as in the last two trilogies. I liked the villain, corporate weasel. He was really well done. You wanted to see him get his. Storyline-wise, in my opinion, it's not as good as the other two trilogies. The dinosaurs were really awesome, and it was a fun thrill ride. And it had Dolores. What was your favorite dinosaur?
I like the Quetzalcoatlus because the way that they're portrayed throughout the movie is like dangerous and scary. But they weren't so much that in real life. They were more like to themselves. They didn't try and hunt the bigger animals.
Well, in here, these are mutants. They obviously combined that dinosaur with another dinosaur species. Mm-hmm. I thought that dinosaur had the best eating scene in the film when it ate the guy on the rope. The shot was almost Jaws-like. That was very cool.
My favorite dinosaur was probably the mutated Bronchosaurus. And I believe Jack even mentioned how it has like a kaiju kind of reference to
Titanosaurus, the last new Toho character in the Showa series. It had his fins on the neck of this Titanosaurus. It's the name of the creature. It was definitely a nod to it.
I believe my favorite moment when they're referencing the iconic scene of the raptors kind of tapping Alan. We see that with a mutated pterodactyl. That was fun.
My favorite dinosaur in this was the T-Rex. The best scene when she's chasing them down the whitewater rapids with. The other scene I really loved was you have this guy, Eduardo, completely unaware. He's using the restroom or whatever, and Velociraptor comes in behind him and is slowly showing up, and he's going to eat the guy. The guy still has no clue what's going on. One of the pterodactyl birds come in and attack and destroy the Velociraptor, take it away. And so, of course, he sees it while the scuffle's going on. Then the thing flies away with its meal. He turns back around and goes back to the restroom. It's just but he's like terrified now. Very reminiscent of the Wolfman going after Wilbur Gray. Great comedy beat. There was a lot of good comedy beats in here.
Scarlett Johansson's character was my favorite. Kind of gave me like the same energy as Chris Pratt.
My favorite character was the dad.
Ruben, I think it was.
Yeah, Ruben. That was his name. Only because he's just trying to spend some time with his daughters, and he happens to find himself in this kind of mess, and just fun watching them go through everything that they had to overcome. I think that they had the best scene cinematically with the T-Rex chomping at them in the water, like the camera angles at the bottom of this river.
He was definitely a dad watching out for his kids, except for the fact that he brought them close to Mosasaurus in the first place.
I think they just got unlucky. Like, they were the target of, like, every dinosaur interaction there.
My favorite human was Kincaid, the corporate weasel. He was perfectly despicable. You felt like he was going to betray them all through the movie. Like he was never going to pay the money he promised. The big sister is hanging off the side of the boat after she does the right thing, attempting to call for help. He actually just watches her fall off.
He smiles.
Yeah, the actor did such a good job. I wanted to smack him at that moment. The camera angle was perfect, too. And, of course, he gets his, as you would expect. He has a great moment there, too, because his hand is still attached to the briefcase. It's very much the Jurassic Park moment when they were trying to get to the power back on. They see Samuel L. Jackson's detached hand attached to the power cords.
I think that plays into his character too, like the whole corporate greed. Even in the afterlife, he's still holding on to that briefcase.
I think when they're on the water a lot of times, the shots are bright so you can really see what's going on. When you need it to be really creepy at the end, it's happening at night, and you have this great moment where the dinosaur comes through the smoke or the mist or whatever it was and destroys the helicopter that's coming to rescue them.
For me, I feel like watching the movie in 4DX only enhanced the experience because the smoke that was happening, you saw that in the theater, the lightning with the strobe lights. There's all kinds of scenes with water involved and being sprayed at and everything.
I thought all the scenes were really nice. They get good, scenes from down below in the human's perspective when looking up at the Titanosaur. You just get that sense of how massive it is. When you're looking down from the very top of that mountain before they get the egg DNA, you can see all the way down the height. The 4DX did make it better too, because I noticed on those scenes where they look all the way down, they tilted the seat forward and made you kind of feel like you were going to fall out the seat kind of thing.
Another one of my favorite moments was when Tina gets eaten. She's one of Duncan's shipmates. They've had this great chase scene with the mosasaurs. The ship crashes, and she's pulling gear onto the island, and it's this huge amount of gear, right? First, you're seeing her struggle, and as she's trying to struggle and trying to pull, and she's just not strong enough to get that thing over. On the side screen, a little bit blurry, is a spicosaur that wakes up and it goes into the water. And it's lazily going into the water like a guy going for his coffee. Tina gets on the other side trying to push the thing. This is the side towards the water. And you just see a spray. Psh, she gets chomped. I loved the whole cinematography of that. I liked the camera not moving.
The end one, when
the villain finally gets his...
Yeah, when the villain gets eaten. I thought that was the most brutal out of all of them. I'd say the Quetzalcoatlus is hold the number 2, because being swallowed whole without even being chewed and then to probably suffer in the stomach is terrible.
What did you think was the best chomp and gobble in this?
I think the best one for me is the kill that we see in the very beginning when there's some scientist in his hazmat suit and he's on the other side, this door in the laboratory, he gets locked in with the D-Rex. I liked that scene because it was the most ominous. We were saying I felt like D-Rex looked similar to a xenomorph, its head.
One last dinosaur we need to talk about. This dinosaur is a licorice-eating baby dinosaur that looked like it stepped out of Land Before Time. Became kind of the pet of Isabella. What did you think of Dolores?
I thought it was interesting. We don't really get to see many times where they interact with a little baby dinosaur. I wonder what they're going to do with the dinosaur when they keep it. They were explaining that they couldn't stay anywhere other than near the equator, right? What are they going to feed it when it gets big? And then how are you going to take care of it?
You're telling me that the candy is not going to sustain.
Most likely not.
No. I thought that she was cute, and part of me kind of wanted Dolores to be a killer in a pack. We've seen the smaller dinosaurs that are just hopping around everywhere, and they're brightly colored. I think one is cute, and then you see 10, and then 20, and 30, and they're all hopping on you, just chomping you up. I kind of wanted Dolores to be part of that, yeah.
I liked Dolores too. I liked the Land Before Time nod. I thought it was cute to see Dolores in the backpack like it's Beverly Hills Chihuahua. She ain't gonna fit in that backpack for long. I think her entrance into this is one of the reasons why this film is more action and way less horror than any of the other films were. Whoever is the engineer for these Jurassic setups, if it's Engine or whoever they suck. Because in the beginning of this movie, you have this multi-million-dollar, probably billion-dollar complex where they are mutating dinosaurs and putting them together, and the containment system cannot handle a Snickers wrapper. The Snickers wrapper contaminates it and shuts the whole thing down. They need to fire every engineer.
They invest millions in the dinosaurs, not in the safety features.
They take shortcuts.
There you go.
I say final thoughts. It was overall a good movie. I enjoyed the more exploration side of things rather than it being sort of like a horror. I think I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Would it entice you to see the next one, this new direction?
Yeah, I think so, because then that'll probably give more opportunities from our mutated dinosaurs for sure.
All right, what do you think, Emmanuel?
I think that my favorite part about it all was just the nostalgia that it gives you for the ones that we've already seen in the past. I think the one thing that I would improve on is a better story or characters that you feel more strongly about. I know that it's the first new Jurassic World film in its own kind of trilogy, so maybe if this one does well and they come out with the other two, then the development for these characters will make us more fond of them. I would probably rate the film 3.8. Yeah, this definitely made me excited for the next one. I think that there should have been something hinting towards more in the future, a little teaser, a little cliffhanger of sort. But I would definitely see the next.
Bigger. Why do they always have to go bigger?